Hello and welcome to this edition of the Boston BioLife Innovation Series. Today we're pleased to have with us Kyle Cetrulo. He's the president and founder of the Perinatal Stem Cell Society. And we're very excited to be working with Kyle to present the 10th anniversary of the Perinatal Stem Cell Society. This will be a virtual conference. It kicks off on May 17th. And for those of you who don't know, Kyle has been working tirelessly in the field of perinatal biologics and really working with most elite research groups around the world that are really doing the scientific research and discovery on the value of these products. I think the perception from the public eye and the medical community is very different than the reality of what's happening in academic research. And Kyle, really grateful for all the work you've done. And I was attracted to your organization immediately because I thought to myself, well, this is the evidence that we need, right? So two factions in this industry are important. Does it benefit a patient? And can you prove it scientifically? And I think a deep dive into your organization really shows that these products have tremendous potential.
Well, thanks for partnering with us, Joe. I really appreciate working with Boston BioLife, and it's been a pleasure to put this conference together and all the work we've done over the years together as well.
So what do you think over the 10 years you've been doing this? I mean, you've really had a catbird seat on the latest presentations from the industry experts, and your faculty really reads like a who's who of anybody that's had a meaningful contribution to this field. What have you seen evolve over time in the decade, literally, that you've done this?
Well, the interest in perinatal stem cells and tissues from the placenta and the Wharton's jelly and the amniotic fluid has just grown exponentially since we started. We originally founded the society because there weren't talks on perinatal stem cells at the major stem cell events, and that was our niche factor in the space. And we really believed that these were the best source of tissue to start any stem cell or cell therapy product. And now everyone is using stem cells from perinatal tissues around the world. So the interest has grown exponentially. Unfortunately, with that, the major people are continuing to put out incredible science, and the efficacy of these cells is undeniable at this point. And it's a little frustrating to see that we haven't made much advances into getting market-approved products with regulatory agencies. And as a result, the field has taken some hits. And as others have gone out and tried to do other methods to bring these products to patients that necessarily don't indicate a really ethical perspective on moving the field forward.
Yeah, I think it's almost like there's two different worlds, right? There's the world of the street medical side of it, where the amniotic fluid's been used for 30 years for joint injections. Maybe it's a lavage or simply works as anti-inflammatory. We know that IV cord blood's been used for this probably the same 30 years, or not more. And there's a lot of organizations that are part of your group and part of the World Stem Cell Summit, the Save the Cord Foundation, the Cord Blood Foundation, even the American Academy of Tissue Banking. They all have a role to play in the legitimacy of this field. But it seems like that's all lost when people talk about patients getting treated in clinics.
Well, really, unfortunately, the industry missed a great opportunity to come together and work in a mature fashion around 2016, 2017, 2018, when the FDA granted the discretionary enforcement. At that point, there were a number of quality companies that were providing products to people under that discretionary enforcement, but there wasn't a great data collection system, and there certainly wasn't any uniform collection. During those years, probably millions of people got treated with perinatal stem cell products without a lot of adverse events. We heard about the big ones, obviously, but those are few and far between considering how many units of product were actually going into people. And if we had a concerted effort where ego got out of the way and one company's data versus another company was not prioritized, we could have really put an unbelievable safety package together to bring to the FDA and to work with FDA from an industry standpoint. And we missed that opportunity. And that window's closed, unfortunately, in my opinion.
It also seems like the evolution of the technologies, from the perinatal products alone, we've now got derivatives. Wharton's jelly is relatively new. Exosome technologies are certainly new and highly utilized. And it just seems like maybe from a regulatory standpoint, there's been an awful lot that's come at the FDA because there's patients are looking for this, and there's such a wide range of applications from the aesthetics all the way through complex disease. And I think that the future, in my opinion, is bright because the science is there. The reason why I'm excited about this is because I see the people that are presenting at this meeting. I see their research and their passion and the depth of the science that they use to validate these, and actually the life-saving and life-changing potentials that they have. And I think that it really needs to be the focus at this point in time.
Absolutely. I mean, the tissues and the cells haven't changed, and they're not going to change. And they're still, in my opinion, the best starting material for any cell therapy. What we will see is that this will be starting material for CAR T treatments, and this will be starting material for mitochondria transfer products, and really advanced maybe gene therapy products as well down the road. And rather than just a 361 trying to skirt under regulatory guise, this will really develop into really sophisticated cell therapy products that will go through the full BLA pathway eventually and really heal a lot of people. So it's still the long road to take, which is the correct road in this space.
Yeah, I think there is evidence of product being developed using culture and expanded or perinatal derived infrastructure, if you will. And we know that most of the pharmaceutical industry is doing some type of controlled research, and groups like Bob Harari's and others are creating products and technologies that can be used to help patients in a wide range. Now we're on to different derivatives, looking at CAR T and CRISPR-Cas9 and 3D printing and tissue engineering. And I think perinatal products are a great starting point, and they provide a lot of important information on how cells develop and how tissues operate, and how we can use the assets of the science here to really create the next generation medical technologies.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see a lot of those advanced technologies really going to be taking place in the United States. And that's the big shame, because that's where we're from. And I feel like the United States is losing the edge in the perinatal space, where you mentioned Bob Harari. He just made a big deal to go to the Middle East. My company, Hiwa Bushido, sees the pathway in Japan as the correct pathway to go forward if you have a cell therapy product. And the US is going to continue to have a diluted version of these cells available to patients. That's my opinion on that. And it's really unfortunate the way that the discretionary enforcement allowed companies that don't have the scientific knowledge and certainly the deep pockets to enter the space. And you need the knowledge and the deep pockets to go through the clinical trial pathway. It's just frustrating to see what has happened in the United States, but it's really exciting to see some of the work that's going on in Italy, work in Japan, work in China, work in the Middle East as well. And that is where these products are most likely going to be developed.
Yeah, I think the regulatory apparatus moves slowly. It's ironic because they were able to make it move quickly during COVID. And I think you got a disconnect between what the government intends in terms of providing pathways. We've seen several declarations of accelerated pathways for these products. There seems to be a willingness to discuss their potential and how best to regulate them, but it really doesn't go anywhere. And part of it, I think, is because the companies that are in the space are small. And like you said, it really requires the deep pockets. But I think that you've done a great job at pulling the industry together, and we hope that there'll be an 11th anniversary, and who knows, maybe someday we will get back together again. But we know that science marches on, and thank you for pulling this together and continuing to keep it going. And we're proud to be part of what you're doing, because the messaging, in my opinion, is very important. It's important for people to know the potential of these products and to follow the science, because contribution can come from everywhere. And, for now, we'll watch what happens internationally, but, try to at least bring the information to the scientific community here domestically.
Yeah, well, I'm really proud of the faculty for this 10th anniversary. We have some amazing people and doctors and scientists. We have Arnold Kaplan, who is the grandfather of all MSC therapies. We have Joanne Kurtzberg from Duke, who's probably the preeminent cord blood pediatric oncologist in the world. We have some international speakers as well. We have Ornella Parolini, who's from Italy and the founder of the IPLAS Foundation, which is the International Placental Society. We have Professor Zhongchao Han from China, who's been doing amazing work with placental stem cells for over 2 decades now. We have Professor Tsuno Takahashi from Japan, who was the founder of Asian Netcord. And the list goes on and on. I mean, I could read the whole list to you, and each member is a very impressive scientist and speaker and brings a lot of integrity and ethics to the space as well. So I really look at this 10th anniversary as accumulation of the 10 years of our best speakers coming to be on the platform. So I hope you can join us, and I hope you enjoy what we put together. You can go to perinatalstemcells.com to learn more about the agenda and to register.
Yeah, and you're offering actually a little bit more than the event, right? So some of the other meetings had been recorded as well, and I think as part of this deal, we're offering this event plus some of the back presentations, correct?
Yeah, when you register, you'll have lifetime access to over 75 talks, including 26 or 27 new ones. We cherry picked the best about 50 presentations from the past that we pulled forward into this vault that you'll have lifetime access to. So visit the perinatalstemcells.com to register for the event. If you register before May 1st, is early bird special of $9.99, and afterwards it's $13.99.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Kyle, for that. And we look forward to this event and then developing future events for you.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.